Michael, the Investec Derby, it's obviously a special race for you and on the racing calendar. What do you think defines it or sets it apart?
It's the beginning of a year and everything is in the unknown. You're just starting to expose your 3-year-olds and your dreams, and they get disappointed and shattered quick enough. But it's a unique track. Always a great occasion. Like, no matter what young jockey you will ask, what would they like to win, Epsom would just pop straight off their lips, and I don't think that'll ever change.
And does it test a rider as much as it tests a horse?
Oh, it does, yeah, very much so. Yeah, you have to be aware of so much. You've got to have a good start. You've got to get to that first corner in a good position. It's paramount, because if you don't, you're on the back foot. And then you have to be very conscious how quick you're going, because you're climbing so much for the first half of the race, and then you've just grab your breath and you're on the roller coaster back down. And you know, horses find it tough, and you got to be very aware of what's happening around you and hopefully what's going to happen. Yeah,
like the downhill run around Tottenham Corner, is that steeper to ride than it is to walk or to watch on the telly?
Oh, it is. It is steep. Horses really can struggle with it. You know, if you don't travel, you're in trouble. That's like the key for Epsom is pace. Horse being able to find the pace of the race comfortable, because if he's finding that, he'll handle the track. But if he's not, he can't, because he ain't finding his feet because he's struggling. You know.
And is that it? Like, people talk about horses handling Epsom or not handling Epsom. Is it the case that if you're travelling, you're going to handle it anyway?
Yeah, that's my experience of it. The horse that travels will find his way down because he's in control. But if he gets out of control, he'll get your speed wobbles.
Yeah. And before you rode in the race, did you have a kind of a set plan in your head of how to ride Epsom or how to ride the Derby, or did it depend on the horse?
It depended on the horse. Like as a kid, I had this image of Epsom being, you know, this unbelievable track and wide open, and when I walked it the first time as a kid, I was there to ride a filly in a listed race. I just couldn't believe the Derby was running around here. It's so demanding and so unique and so different. And of course, each individual horse you have to try and ride him to his strengths, and it'll depend on your opposition as well. Then how much you're allowed to do, or what your own team or the tactics you'll get right or wrong.
And does it depend on pace as well, or did they always go fast in the Derby?
You have to go to the first corner, because it's so important to be in a nice position, because you get to the corner and it's set, and then you switch back, and those that are left are trying to kick up around, but then they're having to do too much. Yeah. So it's so important to get into that, maybe one out and two back, one off the rail and then 2 or 3 back, in a nice position to give yourself options of coming out or going in, you know. Yeah. So the nature of the race lends it to go quick anyway, and then the hill is doing its work anyway.
I think Les used to say that he aimed to be fourth, one off the rail going down the hill. Is that right? Is that right? Is that what you tried to do as well?
Yeah. I would watch all prior to me going. I watched as much as I could on it. And Leicester was always in the right spot at the right time, and that wasn't by accident. Yeah,
and that first turn where it's on the climb, isn't it? So you don't want to be too wide going around the first kind of right-hand kink.
No, you want to skim that corner as close as you can. Maybe just one outside of it, have one on your right. That means you'll have one on your left, and you're in the middle. That's the ideal one for me. Yeah. So when you swing back, you're in that middle spot. Yeah. Because you can get cut off if you're on the outside going to that first corner. Fortunately, the stewards are not down there. You can't watch the cameras. But it's first up, best dressed to the corner.
Rough? Is it rough like that?
Well, it can be in a big field. Like if you miss a start, you're not going to let a guy come and take a buzzy. Yeah. He's going to have to queue up.
Yeah. And did the ground determine a lot of it as well, or did that?
Yeah, of course. But like in recent times, you know, I've never ridden. I can't remember riding in a firm one, but I got a bit soft if you got a deluge or something. But they really do have fantastic racing ground for Oaks and Derby nowadays. You know, there's never so ground shouldn't be an issue unless it turns up soft. You know.
Yeah. And it stood the test of time, the Derby. Like it's even though it kind of went out of vogue for a couple of years, it's still a massive race in a horse's career, both as a racehorse and as a stallion, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, if you have a nice 2-year-old and he can go on and get an Epsom Derby in his CV, and he can come back and win over different distances, he's a hugely valuable commodity for after racing in stud.
Yeah, and is that right that it should be? Do you think, like, as a test that, like, you know, say it tests a horse's physique, pace, stamina, everything, ability to handle the occasion as well?
Yeah, he has to be an all-round athlete to handle Epsom. You know, if he's falling short on any corners, it'll be found at Epsom, because the track and the nature of it and the occasion will get the better of your horse. And
you as a breeder yourself, like, would you look especially favourably on a horse who's had that all-round ability to win a Derby?
Oh, I would, yeah. Especially the quick ones, where you see the horse that's always been, he's a winner all the way, or, you know, no matter when you go back and you can say, oh, he's in control of the race at every step of the way. They're the horses you want to be watching, yeah.
Michael, you've had a successful time in the Derby. Your first Derby winner as Commander-in-Chief in '93. How did it come about that you got that right?
It came really about the year previous. Steve Cawthon was jockey for Sir Henry Cecil, God rest him, and he had to go to his brother's wedding in July, and Aled Duress came up as a spare ride in the Irish Oaks, and I got on her, went over and rode her work and loved her and won on her, and it sort of got the ball rolling for me. And then in the spring, when Sir Henry had Tenby the favourite, and he had Commander-in-Chief as a second string, he gave me a call to say would I come and ride him, Mock and ride him, and I did so. And he did say to me, he said, "This is not a second string, Michael." He said, "This has a big chance," and he was right.
And did you like him when because he didn't run as a 2-year-old, I think, Commander-in-Chief?
No, yeah, huge, big, fine, big, rangy horse, staying horse. And I went and rode him. He was a lovely big horse. Yeah, I knew I was going to get a lovely ride at Epsom, and it was a little bit on the easier side of good maybe, and it seemed to suit him well too.
And did you think that maybe you were on the right one?
I was very happy. I was going to have a great ride. Sir Henry was, he was very bullish about him pro race when we were running work, and when I weighed out, he said this horse has a great chance. He's in great form. He has a great chance. So you go enjoy it, So yeah, he was right.
And do you remember the race? Do you remember how the race went for you?
Yeah, I was back a little bit, a shade farther back maybe than ideal, but they had done a real good gallop. So stamina really started to kick in down into the straight. I was probably like about 8th or 9th, I would say, back middle of the pack. But stamina kicked into play, and he won very well in the wind-up. Stayed on really strong down to the straight and won going away.
Tenby is beaten, and his Commander-in-Chief, his stable companion, going 3 clear of Barathea, with Blues Traveller, who's won a terrific race around as they come inside the final furlong. Commander-in-Chief and Kinane on his 5th Derby ride, clear by 6 to Blues Traveller and Barathea, and staying on best of all on the outside is Blue Judge. Up towards the line, the Commander's in charge. Commander-in-Chief takes the Derby from Blue Judge, second Blues Traveller.
And was that a massive deal to win the Epsom Derby?
It was my boyhood dream to be always could win an Epsom Derby, and it was an unbelievable feeling. Yeah, didn't get to enjoy it much. I had to come back here to ride in the Curragh, a maiden. I got beat. I got brought back down there very quick that evening at the Curragh.
That evening, was it?
Yeah, money on shot. Yeah, Dermot wanted me back, so I had to come back.
Did you get to celebrate it at any point later?
No. We did a bit later. We did. Yeah. But fantastic. And
that spawned a good relationship that you had with Sir Henry Cecil as well, didn't it?
I did. I rode a lot of winners for Henry. And when I had that retainer from Sheikh Mohammed for a 3-year period there, I was going over and back riding most of their big days in England. And developed a good association with Henry, and yeah, he was a lovely man, great trainer.
Yeah.
His horses were like him; they were uncomplicated and would always try and do the best.
Yeah.
They were always good to ride.
You won the King George on King's Theatre.
Yeah, rode a lot
Nearly
of
won the
horses.
Derby in him as well.
Yeah, he was second everywhere really. I was second in Epsom on him. I was second in Philly. Turned up was it Salisbury or Balanchine turned up to beat him at the Irish Derby. He was second.
Yeah.
And a loose horse beat him at the King George.
Oh yeah.
His Zood or what he came up from going out the gates.
Yeah, that was a Zood, yeah.
Yeah. So he was a bit of a bridesmaid.
And do you think that the Commander-in-Chief win was that instrumental as well in your relationship with Sheikh Mohammed indirectly?
It got me noticed.
Yeah.
It was hard to get break out of Ireland, and suddenly when you were getting those high-profile rides, then you were getting the opportunities, and without the opportunities, you can't blossom, and then opportunities start to flow from there.
Your second Derby was Galileo.
Yeah, found a fair one there. Yeah, of all the horses I've ridden around Epsom, if you want to pick a horse made for Epsom, was him.
Really?
Yeah, not over big, beautifully balanced. He was like riding a motorbike around there. He was just never took one bad step, and from the first corner you could pick him as the winner, and as I was riding him, you just knew this was going according to plan. It wasn't over big field.
Yeah.
Had him in a lovely posse. He was just coasting. It's one of those few you're able to really enjoy.
Really?
Yeah, because it was all just plan A, and there wasn't even a hint of P or C, so it was just seemed to go in slow motion. Everything you wanted to happen was happening, and it was just move when you wanted to move,
Yeah.
Yeah, an exceptional Derby horse he was,
Yeah.
as he's proven now.
Absolutely,
A
yeah.
stallion.
And because you rode him, I think, to win the Valley Sacks, but then you were in France when he won the Dernston.
Yes, yeah. I think Shamey Heffernan rode him. All through the years, other than Guinea's horse, Ballydale, the Dernston is their key Derby trial, and it's proven over the years to be a very good Derby trial. A bit like the Dante or your Guineas, they're the key races that always influence Epsom.
And did you always think that he was your Derby horse that year?
Oh yeah, he was on his own. Yeah. There wasn't a hint of anything else. He was standout.
And he was the only runner that Aidan had in the race.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear you say that you could enjoy that race. Like to see you always felt very confident.
Yeah, there was nothing seemed to be a hint of anything going wrong. There was no panic. I had everything covered. I was around, and I was as close to the pace I wanted to be, and I was in a position to move when I wanted to move. So there was never a panic. There was never an alarm bell got off my head through the race that will or won't I, or should I, shouldn't I. It was one of those few races that you could enjoy every step of the way.
And it was Aidan's first Derby as well. So that must have been a massive day, was it?
Oh, of course it was. Aidan was young and coming forward, and we knew he was very talented. But now we now see how talented. But it was a huge step for him, and for Coolmore to get a horse of this calibre and for it to go right.
Yeah.
Galileo pushed along on the outside, then Putra Sandhurst from Dilshan storming home trying to get out. They've got just over 2 furlongs to go. Mr. Combustible on Perfect Sunday. Here's Galileo now charging down the outside, and Galileo comes to take over from Mr. Combustible. Then Perfect Sunday. Golan running on from the rear, then Dilshan and Putra Sandhurst, but Galileo is really opening up as they run down inside the final furlong. Galileo by 4 to 5 lengths. Golan staying on in second place, but nearing the line, it's Galileo. He's left them toiling. It's no contest. Galileo, a brilliant winner of the Derby. Golan is second, to Boog is third.
And then he was your first Irish Derby winner then, wasn't he, when he came back and won it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd been kicking own goals and hitting the bar for a lot of years. I could go and win them everywhere, and I was living opposite the 6 furlong gate, and I couldn't win one at home. So they eventually took Galileo to break the duck. And like any you're waiting for a bus. I was able to win it the following year again with High Chaparral.
Yeah.
So I found 2 good ones to get me across the line.
And then of course Galileo, the rest of his racing career was brilliant. King George, and then Fantastic Light in the Irish Champions Stakes and all of that. He was, yeah. He just tailed off a little bit then at the end, you know. They went to the Breeders' Cup, but it was, at the time, it was no lose for them. Just if he could handle the dirt and he was able to do something like that in the Breeders' Cup, it would be a huge bonus. But you know, it was, I've only good memories of the horse, and continue to have them. Of course, you couldn't have imagined that he would be the stallion that he has become, could you?
No. To think that he would, you know, they would eclipse Saddle as well. You just couldn't imagine a stallion to do that. And you know, they were searching for the follow on, and to see what he's done has been a phenomenal. Yeah.
Another brilliant horse came along in the form of Sea the Stars.
Yeah, his brother. Yeah, unbelievable. I had left Ballydial, and I'll never forget John Ox. It was late April, and that would be very early for John for having producing 2 years. And he said, second lot. And he said, oh my goodness, I have a few 2 years for you this morning. Oh, I said, I see you getting the runner. He said, oh, I think I have a nice bunch, he said. So anyway, this big, loose, big bay gelding walked up to me and he says, get up on that fella. I said, what is it? What's he by? Oh, he's a half brother of Galileo. He said, oh, how'd you get him? Never mind how I got him. Just get up there and ride him. So I went down and turned around. He came back 4 furlongs and I popped off it. And the exact words I said to him, I was like, God, this fella finds going quick very easy. I said, he's a beauty. And he never disappointed a day after that.
Yeah.
Every day was special with him, yeah.
Like his 3-year-old career was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was. You know, he different distances, travelled everywhere. Every month he was tackling the Group 1. You know, we had to walk away from the Irish Derby. Unfortunately, the ground was very soft, and he wasn't mature enough to take bottomless ground at that time of year. He would have been later on in the year, but we were minding something rather special. You know, we just had to box a bit clever with him, but what he did was phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal. He never missed a dance.
Yeah, and then given that he won over a mile from a position before the Guineas where people thought he might be a Derby horse, then they were saying he might not stay at the Derby. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good because actually after the Guineas, Leicester was presenting the prizes with trophies to do with a jockey, and so I got up to, because all Leicester, will he stay? And I said, yeah, he'll stay. Good. He just wanted to know will he stay.
Yeah.
So I said he followed him on anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You never had any worries at all about him staying?
Oh no. No, I knew it'd be a great ride. The only thing, once he stepped up over a mile and a half, he often found him going a bit slow. He always looked to be running a little keener because the pace of the race just wasn't as strong. He was so happy with a very high tempo in a race, you know, and often you just don't often get that at a mile and a half, you know.
Yeah. And did that Derby go as well for you as Galileo's Derby?
Yeah, I had a lovely run. Yeah, he hit the gates. He was one of those. He was a very calm horse, but once the gates opened, he had his running hat on. And he was aggressive leaving them gates. He could be flat out. He could be in top stride in 5 bounces, which is phenomenal for a staying horse. And Europe was always in a position, beautiful position. I let off the 2 pacemakers at Ballydial and I stacked up the fancied ones behind me. So I knew I had them where I wanted them. Yeah. And I was only going to take on the pacemakers when it suited me. So, and I had Frankie on my outside. We had a solo around, and I just moved when I felt like I needed to move, and I was always in control. Yeah, very much so.
See the Stars is travelling very smoothly for Kinane. Then behind them, Fame and Glory Debussy, and further back in the field, battling on then is Rip Van Winkle, and Crowded House taken to the outside. outside. Golden Sword, though, is the one to catch. They race inside the 2 furlong, and it's Golden Sword clear. Here's See the Stars called on for an effort. Down the outside, Fame and Glory. It's now See the Stars who takes it up with a furlong to go. He goes a length up now, trying hard. Fame and Glory for Golden Sword and Rip Van Winkle, but See the Stars is going to win the Guineas and Derby double.
Was there ever a point at which you or John or Miss Choi would have liked to have gone for the Triple Crown to try and win the Leger? Because there was never really any talk of it.
No, it was never. No, it was never. He was just too. It was never in discussion. I don't think it ever was, because with the route we had gone, he was gone up and down in 1.25 mile distances. Like, he had shown huge versatility. We were more interested in the Arc. You know, when you see the Jinsky leaving an Arc behind him because of taking the Triple Crown, the last horse to do it. It's hard, very hard. The Arc being with Mrs. Choi was the ultimate goal, because Urban C, his dam, had won it. So that was the holy grail for them. So it depends on people's point of view, you know. So it was never in a discussion of Leger for him.
Yeah. Do you think he could have won a Leger?
Oh yeah. Yes, he could.
Yeah.
Oh, he got around easy. Wouldn't come off the bridle.
You let him retire, and then quietly a few weeks later, as I recall, you had asked yours. Was that always your plan, to retire at the end of him?
Oh yeah, I did. I said to Catherine, sort of in the autumn there, I said, if I finish well with this fella, I think I'll take a walk. So it'd be good to, you know, I always sort of promised myself, try and go out on top, you know, while I was doing it well, not wait till I do it badly, you know. So I didn't have to do it badly on him. He was doing all the running, so it was a good time for me to walk away. Yeah.
I mean, to get a horse like him at around about the time that you were thinking about it.
I was ready for my pension. Yeah, yeah. It was just, you couldn't read the script like it.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable.